Abkhazia today is an autonomous region of the country of Georgia. In 720 AD, it held much of the same status, although inside a much larger country, or should I say empire. For the past few hundred years, Abkhazia was a vassal state under the control of the Eastern Roman Empire. This relationship can easily be seen through the names of the Abkhazian rulers. The current one was named Constantine II, and he was the king of Abkhazia. Unfortunately, in that same year, 720, the ruling king of Abkhazia would die, leaving his son next in line. His name was Leon, which was probably an Abkhazian spin on the name Leo, another common name for Eastern Roman emperors. King Leon settled into his new role, most likely spending a good deal of time governing from his capital fortress called Anacopia. Now a ruin, this was once a sprawling castle and a hub for trade and commerce, but also for the Princedom of Iberia, directly on their border. The two kingdoms shared plenty together, often their fates and cultures intertwined. Since 330 BC, the time of the first Iberian king, Pharnavaz I, the two regions usually found an easy ally in one another. A time would soon come when this age-old alliance would be tested. The current Arab governor of Armenia and future Umayyad Caliph, Marwan II, invaded Iberia in 735. His first campaign would be directed at the Prince of Kartli, Archil. It's important to mention that this was not a full invasion of Iberia, but only a specific hunt for Archil. At this time, Prince Guram III, vassal of the Umayyad Caliphate, was the ruling prince of Iberia, and he was more than loyal to his Arab overlords. Guram III paid his tribute to the Umayyads, but Prince Archil, he did not. This was also something of a revenge campaign for the Umayyads. Only 50 years ago, Archil's grandfather, Adarnase II, who was at the time ruling prince of Iberia, revolted against the Caliphate. This war soon became a coalition, as the Armenian prince and the Prince of Caucasus Albania joined his revolt. They would fight for a total of 4 years, but would eventually be crushed, with Archil's grandfather Adarnase II meeting his end in this conflict. His dynasty, called the Chosroids, were deposed, but managed to sustain a hold on Iberia through the city of Kartli, a city that Marwan II now targeted and put under siege. The siege of Kartli lasted for the better part of a year, until Marwan managed to take it. He expected to find Prince Archil Chosroid, where he would probably either imprison or execute him. Instead of this, he only found empty royal beds, where Archil and his brother had slept. The two princes were now on the run, straight towards Abkhazia. Prince Archil and his brother, Prince Mirian, arrived at King Leon's capital of Anacopia, seeking refuge. Fast on the heels of the two princes was Marwan, who was eager for another siege. King Leon wrote to his overlord, Emperor Leo III. He requested that a relief army be sent to Anacopia for his protection. The emperor responded, not with an army, but with instructions and reassurance. King Leon was told to use the two young princes that had ran to him for protection. Leon instructed the princes to send out letters and gather men quickly. Soon, Marwan would arrive. Anacopia needed all available men to defend it. Sometime in 736, Marwan arrived at the gates, being met by a combined Iberian and Abkhazian defense. Anacopia was put to the siege. The defenders repelled every oncoming attack. Both the walls and the men held firm. A frustrated Marwan would be forced to retreat from Abkhazia. King Leon had not only served his master in Constantinople, but he also managed to help his fellow countrymen against a common enemy. Marwan continued his campaign, turning to the south before again turning north. He then put Anacopia to siege in 737. Again, the combined forces defended their walls successfully. Marwan was determined this time, but would soon fall victim to man's oldest enemy, Mother Nature. A great rainstorm fell across Abkhazia. The plains that surrounded Anacopia started to flood and create a moat. Marwan was again forced to retreat, this time abandoning his campaign altogether. With Abkhazia and Iberia somewhat safe, the two princes returned to their homeland, but not before a formal binding of the two kingdoms through marriage. King Leon would marry Goran Dukt, the daughter of Prince Mirian Chosroid. After hearing news of the twice defeated Marwan, Emperor Leo III sent his praise, and bestowed upon Leon the title of Archon of Abkhazia. This title, for the Eastern Romans, meant to be first to rule. Now that Leon was first to rule, he was also granted ownership over much of the Black Sea coast to his direct north. It's at this point that sources disappear for Leon. As for Prince Mirian, he would be killed in 741 while fighting another Umayyad invasion. Prince Archil would continue ruling in his place. In 767, the Archon and King of Abkhazia would die after 47 years of reign. He would be succeeded by his son through marriage with Grand Duke. His name was King Leon II, and he would, with time, become the first independent king of Abkhazia. King Leon was certainly a heroic figure for both Georgia and Abkhazia. His defense of his capital, Anacopia, halted Umayyad expansion in the area. It's very possible that without him, Arabic may have become the common tongue of Abkhazia, maybe even Georgia. King Leon II was born in the early 8th century, the son of Leon I, current king of Abkhazia and subservient ruler to the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantines called him Archon, and would surely do the same to Leon II when he came to the throne. His mother's name was Grand Duke. She was the daughter of Prince Mirian of neighboring Kartli. In 767, Leon I would die. With Leon II's ascension, he would become king and Archon. One of these titles he would keep, the other he would rip off when the time was right. This is the story of the first independent king of Abkhazia, Leon II. Leon's reign for the first 11 years seemed to be largely peaceful. In 775, the Byzantine Emperor, Constantine V, would die of an infection while on campaign. His 25-year-old son, Leo IV, would be crowned on September 14th of 775 as the Eastern Roman Emperor. Leo IV was also the son of Tsitzak. She was the daughter of Kagan Bihar of the Khazar Khaganate. Their marriage in 732 cemented an alliance between the Byzantine Empire and the Khazars. 20 years before this marriage of Constantine V and Tsitzak, the sister of Kagan Bihar was also being married to a monarch. She was being married off to Constantine II, the king of Abkhazia, grandfather of Leon II. Emperor Leo IV, who is commonly referred to as the Khazar, was the nephew of his Archon in Abkhazia. In 780, Emperor Leo IV would die of a fever, quite mysteriously, at the age of 30. Many fingers pointed toward his wife, Irene of Athens. Regardless, this death and conspiracy ended the short-lived line of Khazar Byzantine emperors. Irene of Athens would become regent and would later go on to blind her own son in order to become the first female Byzantine empress. This left the Khazar-Byzantine alliance broken, while simultaneously it strengthened the Khazar alliance with Abkhazia. Leon II, now being backed by the Khazar Khaganate, then declared himself to no longer be a Byzantine Archon, but an autonomous king in his own right. In 786, Leon II also used another family connection to gain a foothold over neighboring Iberia. This time, he cited his mother's lineage. Her father was Prince Mirian Chosroid of Kartli. He died decades ago in 741 while fighting the Umayyad Caliphate. At that time, his brother, Prince Archil, would succeed him. However, in 786, Archil would die after another Umayyad invasion that would also see Prince Stephen III of Iberia on the executioner's block. The two sons of Prince Archil both retreated, both moving to the Duchy of Tal-Klarjeti, a Byzantine province ruled over by a Georgian duke named Adarnase I. The elder of Archil's sons married the daughter of Duke Adarnase. In their absence, Leon II would claim Lazica by right of his matrilineal inheritance. He would occupy this land, and with his alliance to the Khazars, the Umayyad Caliphate found no interest in attacking. This grab would nearly double his land area and multiply his wealth a few times over. To strengthen his own connection to Duke Adarnase of Tal-Klarjeti, Leon married his oldest son to the daughter of the duke's oldest son. His name was Ashot Bagrationi, also known as Ashot the Great. This move thoroughly checkmated the descendants of Prince Archil, strengthening his claim over Lazica. The Archons of Abkhazia ruled from their capital city of Anacopia. This too, Leon II would change. He then moved his court to the much larger city of Kutaisi, an ancient city on the edges of Lazica that was located in the heart of Georgian lands. While Leon II seemed to wisely use marriage after marriage to gain power, we have no idea who Leon himself married. We do know that he had 3 children that would all become kings of Abkhazia. Going from oldest to youngest, they were Theodosius II, Demetrius II, and George I. For the rest of his reign, it seemed that Leon II was a passive ruler, who preferred peace rather than war. His neighbor and son-in-law, Duke Ashot, did not feel the same way. In 813, with Byzantine backing, Ashot Bagrationi declared himself to be the new presiding prince of Iberia. This did not seem to affect King Leon II, however, as he stayed a neutral power in the region for the next 15 years. In 828, King Leon II would die, and be succeeded by his oldest son, Theodosius II. King Leon II ruled as Archon of Abkhazia for 11 years, from 767 to 778, and independent king of a much larger Abkhazia for 50 years, from 778 to 828. His long reign, while mostly peaceful, was a transformative time for Abkhazia. Leon II, if nothing else, was a shrewd diplomat who really knew how to play the powers that surrounded him off one another in order to benefit himself. Also, a huge shout out to Zaruku, the artist who drew this. The link to his fiver will be in the description below.